football franchise, talking about that guy. Hoogie, Tyler every week. Heavy analytics, competition real steep. Whoa, that's sweet. Ho in this belief. Nick so sick, man, bringing ships the whole fleet. Goats, not sheep. Follow every tweet. Don't sleep, always finding sleepers on the street. Boy. F3, winning every single league. Money back guaranteed, but it's free. Welcome to the franchise. Welcome to the franchise. Let's go.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Franchise Podcast. My name is Nick Sigmund. With me as always is Tyler Gee.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
And Jonathan Robertson.
What up?
Cool week, big week. I like the beginning of the season. It's kind of a mystery. Trying to figure out, hey, what you gonna do? What's this team gonna do? Oh no, they're doing things.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It fell out again. So, I mean, we're just gonna rush into this. We'll get into the news and talk about some injuries and other thingamabobs.
That's what you come here for. It's thingamabobs and stuff.
The fantasy news.
So some quick ones. I mean, Gurley and Dalvin Cook both left the game with cramps. So drink more water.
I think Gurley was we're up by 1 million cramps.
So, why?
We get why are we gonna risk our star running back cramps?
Hey guys, I'm tired of running all over you. Like you made my leg cramp. I've been running so much.
Man, we were just actually talking right before the thing. We just don't know who's worse, the Arizona Cardinals or the Bills. And at this point, I just want them to play it and find out. Like, let's just suspend all of the games going on. I know we have a schedule. No, get off the schedule. This is important to me. Do they call that like the toilet bowl or?
Yeah.
Either way, it's not what you want to be about.
It's not going to be fun.
It's not for us.
So LaShawn McCoy is likely to miss a game with a cracked rib, from what I read.
This is LaShawn McCoy. I mean, it's about par, about what he does.
Well, they said that he may miss a game at most, if any. He has had this issue before, and he's played through it. So
okay. So just gonna like throw a.
So get it right. Okay.
Wow, yeah, I mean it's just it's LaShawn McCoy. I mean it's just. I'm telling you, the man stays hurt.
He's old. He gets hurt, but then he runs through it.
I don't know how devastated you are as the LaShawn McCoy owner. Because, I mean, you were playing him, and you didn't
not.
feel good.
Or not.
I have LaShawn McCoy, and I have yet to play him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I have him in 2 leagues, and I've yet to play him.
Yep.
Cool.
I just feel like we're seeing a whole shift in the dynamic of the NFL. I mean, there was so much running back heavy. There was so much emphasis on running back that it's like this year I don't feel like there is. Like, it's just the way that the plays are being called, the penalty flags, the way that they're set up, the NFL, to protect the quarterback and the wide receivers. Like, it's
been a lot of committees. Like, a lot more committees than you would have thought. Like, Kenyon Drake was supposed to be his own guy. He's not.
Well, it's a new era.
His own man.
You know, the Saints started it last year with Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, and now everyone is trying to replicate that.
I think Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman did it.
It is the dawning.
Not
of
at that
a new
level.
era.
They didn't do it as good as.
Yeah, so no one wanted to do it. Then the Saints did it, and they were like, I mean, maybe.
Well,
I just
Sean
wanna do
Payton
it.
did it.
I've got one big guy and one small guy. We'll try it.
I don't want to know. I don't want to. So, Larry Fitzgerald has left with a hamstring injury, but he's not likely to miss any time, from what I read.
I heard it was an emotional injury.
Yeah. Why does my team suck so much again?
It's not near as bad as that defensive player that retired.
So here's my question.
What was that guy's name, Jonathan?
Vontae something?
Was it Vontae Davis?
Yes.
Yeah, Vontae Davis. Was it cornerback for the Bills? At halftime, retired. Like he got a hot dog. Like he walked out of the gym, was like, I retire, and then like stopped at the stand and got a hot dog.
Like, you don't pay me enough to lose this badly.
I mean, I'd like to say, like, shame on him. I probably would have finished the game, but
Yeah.
I can't blame him. I mean, if I had that much money, it's like, are the Bills winning a Super Bowl?
Yes.
If you believe it.
And a young girl's heart.
That would be the biggest miracle since my wife said yes to me when we were dating.
So he left. He left the game. This was a 1 o'clock game. So he left it at halftime. Or this is a 12 o'clock game. Vontae Davis.
Okay.
So around 3, 4 o'clock, I don't know if this is Eastern time or Central time, he tweeted out, "Only God can judge me." That is true.
But the Bills fans will try.
Well, maybe God can judge you, but the Bills fans can be pissed.
So we're halfway through the news. I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Sports Bracketeers. They're a daily fantasy company that makes unique bracket format fantasy. Users enter a contest and advance through the contest bracket by answering statistical questions head to head. How many yards will X player have in a game, or how many yards will they throw?
But this week I think was how many yards will Antonio Brown and Tyreek Hill have?
Ooh.
So I mean, combination, and it is head to head. So this is not like you're
One
like
against
just
the world.
You're gonna lose against one guy that randomly just smashed numbers onto his keyboard. Like, these are real people with real projections. So I like that. I like the head to head aspect. It's not just I lost to some guy that randomly hit it right on the head.
Mm-hmm.
What were the chances?
Yeah. Check them out. You can check it out in the description of whatever you're listening to this on. In every description, there will be a link.
Check right now, wherever
Literally,
you are.
There'll be a link.
Look underneath your seat. Guess what it is?
Boom! Link.
Oh, Oprah in the corner. That's my trick. Sorry.
So
check them out, sportsbracketeers.com. Slick-looking website. I mean, it's just 100% legitimate. You got to check it out. Great DFS. A lot of fun.
All right, John. What are you going to say? So moving on.
Real quick, just go ahead, because I think this is funny.
Are you still on Vontae Davis?
Yeah, Lorenzo Alexander, the defensive end for the Bills, he said as he was leaving, or as he was coming into the second half, he said, "He didn't say nothing to nobody. You know as much as I know. I found out going into the second half of the game. I asked, where's Vontae? They said, he's not coming out. He retired."
All right.
So Joe Mixon's out for another 1 to 2 weeks.
Talk about a 2-week notice.
Yeah. Gio Bernard.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about him on the waiver wire pickup. Like, how much money do you spend on Gio Bernard? I mean, if this is only 2 weeks, I mean, but it also is 2 to 4 weeks. This can be something.
Vontae just tweeted and then immediately deleted it. What did it say?
The meme.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, it says, "Only God can judge me." That's what it said.
So he immediately deleted it. Okay.
And then Dwight from The Office, boss.
Hey, you're going to get off this device. All right, Jonathan's obsessed. You lost your talking privileges.
So Carson Wentz is coming back this week. He was cleared to play.
Does that mean Alshon Jeffrey is coming back?
No.
I don't know. There's whispers.
Are you more excited for Wentz or Foles? Would you rather Wentz or Foles play at this point?
Oh, Wentz?
Okay.
I mean, Foles looks like hot poop. But, I mean, I talked about this. Like, I talked about it week 1. Like, everybody was like, the head Carson Wentz was like, well, guess I'm going to fire up Nick Foles. No, just because you have Carson Wentz doesn't mean you have to play his backup. Like, this isn't a real NFL team. Go get somebody else. Like,
Patrick Mahomes or something.
Like, yes, he won him the Super Bowl, and yes, he is a great backup quarterback. But I mean, he is a backup quarterback. Like, I mean,
he's better than Sam Bradford.
I mean, he's no Ryan Fitz.
He's.
So I
Josh
was listening to Golick and Wingo, favorite radio show, going into work in the mornings.
Wait, his name is Wingo?
Yeah, Trey Wingo. Yeah.
Oh, like that's his last name. I thought it was like his nickname. I was like,
No.
how do you get the nickname of Wingo? And if so, sign me up.
Mike Golick and Trey Wingo. But I was listening to them, and they made a good point. Obviously, Carson Wentz is more talented, right?
Accurate.
Okay, but the question that they brought up is the Eagles' struggle of not coming out and being Super Bowl team running the world. his question was, and you're also talking about Mike Golick, used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. He came out and he said, how much of this just truly is the overall Eagles team? Defense, how much of it is just the fact that Nelson Aguilar is their number one wide receiver right now, although doing fine based on pure just opportunity. I mean, how much of it is just, I mean, so what do you all think we can expect from, like, Carson Wentz coming back? I mean, I don't expect that they're automatically going to go into one of the top offenses in the league, but because they still just have nobody.
There is a lot of struggle bus going on. I mean, when you've got Mike Wallace going down, you've got the backup of the backup of the backup of the backup out there. I mean, that's rough. I mean, as somebody who was a Chicago Bears fan, I mean, this happened to us last year when we had Cameron Meredith. He went down. When Cameron Meredith is year one, you already have concerns, right? And then, next thing you know, you go out and you trade for Inman, who immediately became the best wide receiver we had. I mean, it was Kendall Wright. I mean, it was just the Bears had no one to throw to. And that's why I was talking about, like, with Mitchell Trubisky, I'm like, I don't know if he's a good quarterback. I have no idea. Like, going into 2018 this season, because I was like, do you see what was around him? Like, and people would often get mad at Mitchell because they're like, who's he thought? He's like, he has to get that ball out of his hands. To whom? If no one is getting separation, what are you supposed to do? I mean, and so that's what I worry about. I mean, I do worry about this Eagles thing. I think that Jay Ajayi is going to get the work just because of it. I mean, Corey Clement looked really good too. I'm actually more interested in picking up Corey Clement right now because Jay Ajayi almost has a little bit of the LaShawn McCoy effect. Like, he gets hit. Oh, no, I'm down.
Oh, yeah,
no,
he went to the locker room on Sunday.
And then he comes back. But I think one day he's going to lose all 9 of his lives. Now he's a cat. I don't know.
Someone help my name.
And Corey Clements is going to be the biggest waiver wire pickup. So if I had a bench spot.
I mean, he should already be picked up, in all honesty.
It just depends on the bench, how deep it is. But if I have a bench spot, I'm stashing him because, just like Jonathan said, we have a struggling wide receiver core. Carson Wentz is coming back. Corey Clement's already a pass catcher. If Jay Ajayi goes down, Corey Clement could just destroy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the running back there. He's the pass-catching back.
He caught 6 passes last week, too.
It could almost be like last year's Duke Johnson, where it's like they just passed it to Duke Johnson because who else were you throwing it to?
So,
I mean, maybe that's hot, but I think that's something to think about.
So I want to touch on, how do you feel about Josh Gordon? He's going to the Patriots. I mean, I don't feel like his personality fits, but this is a very Patriots thing to do, is take a wide receiver and pay him dirt.
I think it was Dynasty Dad, so I'll give credit to him. They tweeted out, do you all remember the show Heavyweights? Mm-hmm. That movie, Heavyweights? And they were like, Josh Gordon reporting to Patriots camp. And it was that big fat kid, Josh, and he goes, Josh is good now. It's like Josh Gordon reporting to see Bill Belichick, Josh, have no more trouble. Like, like that's listen, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I do.
Oh, I do too.
Absolutely. I mean, I understand there's the risk, but right now, I mean, I feel like there's so many wide receivers or running backs that just aren't performing the way that I wanted them to perform. I mean, if you're holding David Johnson, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, like
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. LaShawn McCoy, Devonta Freeman, Joe Mixon. I mean, these top-end running backs and even some top-end wide receivers you expected to perform are not. Like, I mean, if you're sitting here, if you drafted, DJ, if you sit here and draft David Johnson, then you turn around and somehow got Leonard Fournette for some odd reason, and then turned around and got Freeman, you're sitting there, I have the most loaded team of all time. And now you're sitting there like, crap, this sucks. And I feel like if he does play, and that's a if, he has top 15 potential.
Here's my issue, is that Edelman is supposed to come back. And then we have Edelman, Josh Gordon, Chris Hogan, Gronkowski.
But see, to me,
Sony Michel.
Josh Gordon plays that deeper threat where Edelman plays the slot. And I see it. I get what you're saying. I will say this, however. I think that Josh Gordon, like the Patriots, ran away with that. They traded a fifth round pick.
Yeah.
And not only did they trade a fifth round pick, but they traded a fifth round pick. And if Josh Gordon does not play X amount of games this year, the Browns also have to give him 10 games. Yeah, 10 games. They have to give him back a later round pick. So I mean, minimal risk, in my
Yeah.
opinion, from the Patriots. And, everybody will say, well, if they get, if the Browns can get a 3rd or 4th round rookie pick, this would be not a bad trade. They got a 5th.
And maybe.
And I get it. They were maybe just done with them, but I thought that was good value.
And here's another thing is, like Tyler said, Josh Gordon playing that main wide receiver role, stretching the field, Edelman more of a slot, and that's fine. Brady spreads his weapons out. Obviously, Belichick is, diverse when it comes to play calling. But here's the thing is, Brandon Cooks played in this role minus Edelman last year. Brandon Cooks still had slightly over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. If Josh Gordon can get that, and I'm just going to say it, Josh Gordon is more talented than Brandon Cooks. He's...
Yeah, it's close, but yes.
I think just physical specimen, Josh Gordon is better.
But I will say this. In saying this, though, Nick, I 100% agree. And you're saying you don't want anything to do with it. But I can't get myself to trade for him because the person that has him is coming. And when I come at them, they're not looking at the risk
they're looking
of
at the
Josh
high
Gordon.
ceiling.
They're looking at the top 15 wide receiver he could be, and I don't want to pay those prices.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. If I have Josh Gordon, and for some reason somebody is willing to look at that, right? They're willing to whatever. Then okay, I'm willing to move him. I mean, right now I think Brandon Cooks is doing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, would you trade Josh Gordon for Brandon Cooks? I mean, where they are.
I'd rather have Cooks than.
I would rather have
Gordon.
Cooks, and the reason is just because Cooks comes with no risk.
Okay, I mean, Cooks. Yes, last week. Or this week, 15.9 points.
Would you rather have Josh Gordon or Kenny Golladay?
Josh Gordon.
I'll take Josh Gordon because I think Kenny Golladay is obviously flashing. I mean, he's looking good. And I think Golladay has it, but it's once again it goes back to the target share. I think there's Tate. I think that there's Jones. I think there's Golladay there. Yeah. Well, you could make the same argument with Josh Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Gordon is there with Gronk and Hogan and maybe Edelman one day, but I would almost rather have the third option of Tom Brady's than the third option of Matthew Stafford. And I also would prefer not Nick to sneeze on me and get me sick.
Oh, it's allergies.
It's the allergens. But no, that's a good question. That is a debate. I mean, you got to start kind of almost staying in the flames with them. Mm-hmm. But we'll see.
Okay, well, we're going to get into the main show. And we're going to talk about one of our sponsors, Hall of Breaks. It's a place to get the newest memorabilia available, from recent signings and hot rookies to new products with classic players. First-round picks to Hall of Fame standouts, the best products around are in the Hall. Daily chances to win prizes with a new series every week. Products from full-size replica and authentic helmets to minis and blaze, ice, speed, and other popular styles. There is some risk involved in this game of chance, so be sure to read all the rules on the page or contact the page admin with any questions. Hall of Breaks is more than just a prize page. It is a community of dedicated collectors and lovers of the game. And for them to show their support, we are giving away a free signed mini Deshaun Watson helmet.
It's sex. It's just sex.
It's sexy.
No, it's just sex. It's not even the E.
It's not even sexy.
Yep.
And I mean, this is the type of item you can win on this page. I mean, just check out the link below. Hall of Breaks. There's a link. Click it. Check it out. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do we have our new drops yet, Nick?
I've made some of them, but I haven't been able to add them to here. They're like sitting in the drive.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
You know what? Fine.
The main event.
So some games happened this week.
Yeah, let's talk about them.
There were some games. I don't know if y'all, Ravens fell to the Bengals. Of course, A.J. Green went off. Tyler Boyd also had a good night, showing up much bigger in this game than the last. What I want to talk about was the Ravens wide receiver stats this year. Okay, I'm going to read them off, and you tell me which one you'd rather have. Okay. 8 receptions on 16 targets for 94 yards and a touchdown.
Okay.
7 receptions on 14 targets for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
9 receptions on 14 targets for 103 yards and 1 touchdown.
I mean, they're all pretty much the same. I know who the middle one is, and that's who I want, which is John Brown.
Yep.
I knew he had 2 touchdowns. I agree. I mean, I think John Brown is a sneaky player that a lot of people aren't talking about on waiver wires. For some reason, I've been listening to some fantasy shows, and they're just kind of like, "Yeah, we like John Brown. He's doing good. Moving on." And I'm like, I mean, I would pick him up, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, he could be your flex in some leagues, depending on where you're going. I don't know if he's going to sit your wide receiver 2 spot yet, but
I mean, he finished as of right now, in the Bears game is yet to play. He finished as wide receiver 13 this week. Let me actually make sure. No, that's not in PPR. Hold on. But I mean, he's still.
he's showing up. Like, you did not draft John Brown to be a wide receiver 2.
Let me rephrase that. You did not draft John Brown.
You did not draft John Brown.
He finished as wide receiver 19. 19.2 points, being right next to Chris Hogan, right next to Tyreek Hill, Golden Tate, Sammy Watkins. I mean, what you going to do when they come for you?
I mean, John Brown's definitely a person to pick up. Michael Crabtree, still someone to look at, but, I mean, he was targeted 2 more times overall. Willie Snead is comparable to John Brown. He just hasn't had the touchdowns or the yards. He's had more receptions than the same targets.
I would rather have Michael Crabtree, and it's because John Brown is very boom or bust for me. So I don't know that I would feel comfortable starting him.
Well, right now he's booming, baby.
It's one of those things that, does he get the big catch? I mean, like, I think, like 74 of his yards have come off of 2 catches. 74 of his 130-something. And I just think Michael Crabtree is just more stable. I think he's more experienced. He's more stable. And,
Why can't you let the man gunsling? No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, he reminds me a lot of just you want that big play, kind of like Kennedy Stills, which took a big heaping dump.
Yeah, and I mean,
we'll talk about that
in the red zone. Michael Crabtree is going to be the target, not John Brown.
Yeah. So, Browns Saints. Now, Jarvis Landry had a big first game with 15 targets.
And by the way, I'm not buying any of the Tyler Boyd nonsense.
Yeah, no, that was just
for those of you talking about the waiver wire, and you were saying, I'm not touching him. I think this is Andy Dalton got on fire
because the Ravens defense
and everyone else around him caught a flame, and Tyler Boyd was just like, I guess.
You should look at his first game if you're curious.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Unless I can expect this out of Andy Dalton every week, which I don't. I don't want Tyrod. Or I don't want. I don't want him. Tyler Boyd.
So the Browns and the Saints.
I just can't kick that game.
Browns Saints.
What?
Get it?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Can't kick it.
I get it.
I saw a tweet from Adam Schefter that was like, "So the Browns have released Gonzalez, their kicker, to no one's surprise." That's all it said, and I was like, "Wow."
The Vikings released their kicker to no one's surprise
and signed Dan Bailey.
So Browns Saints. Jarvis Landry had a really good first game with 15 targets. This week he had 7. Are you freaking out a little bit, or are you still like, it's Jarvis Landry?
It's Jarvis Landry. I mean, I think we all wanted to see that 20 target game, with him gone, but it just is what it is. I mean, there's so many things that can change this. I mean, did he get open? What kind of quarterback was guarding him? I mean,
and the Saints probably had Marshall Lattimore covering him, who is a very good corner.
Yeah, so that was going on, and I think also too that I think the Browns were just doing whatever they had to do to win, obviously, and I think that a lot of that was also trying to run down the time. I mean, the Browns were ahead a lot of this game, and so why force it to Jarvis Landry? Why force it to anybody when we can just kind of run out the time, try to get this win here?
And
that's the thing is, with Marshawn Lattimore. Guarding Jarvis Landry.
Sorry for mispronunciation.
It's okay.
Guarding
Jarvis Landry. Tyrod Taylor is a good quarterback, but then again, he's not an elite quarterback that can force that ball in there and have success with it, especially not against a cornerback like Lattimore. So here's my take. I'm keeping Jarvis Landry unless someone's willing to pay ridiculous for him, but I also have to know I have to temper my expectations when we're playing a really good defense. I mean, or at least a good cornerback. I mean, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I haven't looked into it like David Njoku because I know that he kind of missed some time. Week 1 got a little hamstring.
He got a lot of targets this week.
same amount he got week 1. 7 targets. 7 targets,
I mean,
targets.
that's good.
3 receptions, 4 receptions. The problem is his yardage. Like, he got 13 yards on 7 targets. And that was week 1. Yesterday he had, so Sunday against the Saints, 7 targets, 4 receptions for 20 yards.
Me gusta.
I mean, it's just like, come on, man.
So we're going to move on. Chargers beat the Bills. And then the Colts.
It was close.
All I wanted to really point at this game, I mean, it went kind of expected, except Austin Eckler is still looking really good. I just want to point out, usually the first game is a fluke. Second game still look pretty good.
But they're both games that they were just beating the snot out of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that's what I worry about, what happens when they play a game where they're not beating the snot. I don't know if Eckler gets the start, or I don't know how many touches Eckler gets.
Well, Melvin Gordon had to leave the game.
Yeah,
for part of it. So what I'm pointing out that Eckler performed well.
Is this a leaving
under the
game, or is this a?
This was the cramps. He had the cramps.
Yeah,
he had to take a really big poop.
We're ahead. Got to take a poop, coach. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I mean, it could be wrong. I mean, it could have really happened. But even if I think if this game was close, I almost guarantee Melvin Gordon would be like, I didn't play through it.
Yeah,
but due to it was to be the Bills, it was like, my tummy.
They said that
Anybody
about the girly
Pepto?
cramp.
Yeah, the girly. I mean, it was just my tum-tum, coach.
So
tum-tum.
We're going to move on.
Could be wrong.
From the tum-tums. Tum. Colts and Redskins. Chris Thompson had 14 targets, which is 6 more than Jordan Reed and twice as much as Josh Doxson.
If Chris Thompson is healthy, let me make this clear.
He's the
play him.
Play Chris Thompson.
Because captain checkdown of Alex
he
Smith.
Run, he catch, he block.
He also protect. No, I mean, Chris Thompson is the player. I mean, captain checkdown loves him some Chris Thompson. I mean, his name is Captain Checkdown.
Yeah.
Like, oh no,
like
I'm
his
getting in trouble.
license says Andrew, or not Andrew.
His license plate says Andrew, that's it? Wow.
Alex Checkdown Smith. That's his name.
And Chris Thompson's like, I got you, boo. Throw it right here.
It should also be noted, T.Y. Hilton was targeted over twice as much as anyone else. So just beating the horse a little more, T.Y. Hilton is the guy that Luke likes, or
Luke Cage.
Is
the guy that Luke Cage likes.
What is wrong with you? You can't even say words.
I'm trying to get through this.
You said Andrew. Andrew.
I love T.Y. Hilton.
All right, so let's talk about this though, really quick. Okay, would you trade? Who do you want? Do you want Chris Thompson or Josh Gordon?
Chris Thompson.
2 different positions. There's a lot.
Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Which one do you want, Jonathan?
Yeah, I didn't ask you.
I'll go Josh Gordon.
I'll go Chris Thompson. But I get the point. I mean, but let's talk about this really quick. What do you do with Wilkins and Mack? Like, do you play them? Do you want them?
I don't think you play. I mean, you play them when it's a good matchup, but you can't play them if it's playing against a good run D. You cannot play these two because you're playing against 2 guys that really aren't the best runners, anyways.
You ever drink Bailey's out of a boot?
So that old Craig is a host on the British Baking Show.
No, he's not.
Yes, I was like, man, this guy looks so familiar, and I looked it up and I was like,
no
this
one's
is
gonna know what we're talking about.
Anyways, if I'm an owner of Jordan Wilkins, which I am in a few leagues, I'm keeping him because I think that Jordan Wilkins ends up coming out as
more
the
efficient
guy. I mean, they both had 10 carries. He had 6.1 yards on average, and Mack had 3 point something. I mean, he had double the yards. I mean,
yeah, he finished right behind Royce Freeman this week.
Mm-hmm.
Let that settle in.
So we're gonna keep going. Dolphins, Jets. This one, I mean, yeah, still sucked this week, but whatever. I still think he's gonna.
But see, this goes back. See, you gotta start listening to us because we talked about the Jets' defense, and I was like, I just don't trust it. Like, I thought this was more indicative of the Lions on the struggle bus than it was the Jets just having this amazing defense. And
I was trying to decide between
Told ya.
Stills and Freeman in my flex spot, and
Either way, you
either way
weren't
I
happy.
lost. Woo.
We're all losers here. It's not good.
Quincy
Stills,
was still the most targeted player, with Pryor being second.
Yeah, I was watching the game, and they were like, "Oh, Terrell Pryor just got the ball." I was like, "I haven't heard that name in many moons." I was a young lad. It's been a long time. No, I'll say. Here's my question about that game: Are you nervous about Kenny Stills? I mean, are you fired him up?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm still gonna. I mean, I draft him to be my flex. If I have someone better, I will play them. But I'm not. I'm not
that's
scared to play.
yeah. I
Stills.
mean, you're not okay. I like it.
Next game.
One last question: Is Quincy a weekly start? Like, if you have him, do you just start him?
Yeah. I mean, he's the most targeted player.
I mean,
And
Sam Darnold's looking decent.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's not looking bad at all, and might as well.
I mean, he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Whoa, no one's a Patrick Mahomes.
No one has literally broken an NFL record. 10 touchdowns in 2 games. I mean, let's talk about this. I mean, so Quincy Nunwa this week in PPR finishes wide receiver 29. But, I mean, he did it on 11 targets. So, oh, wait, was it 11 targets? It may not be 11 targets. But anyways, I don't know. I feel like you got to do something.
I would
You do
start
have to
him.
do something.
I mean, 7 receptions.
Hard hitting analysis.
7 receptions, 92 yards. I mean, and you're talking about
How many targets did he have? Because my computer's like freaking out right now. It says he had 2, but I'm like, I'm not buying that.
I'm not sure, but
11 targets. 11 targets, 7 receptions. I mean, this is the same amount like he had like last week. I mean, 11 targets is a wide receiver 1. I mean, he was targeted just as much as T.Y. Hilton, Demaryius Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he's not to the talent level of these guys, but I mean,
yeah, and I mean
the volume is there. I mean, you have to recognize. I mean, I don't know. If I have Quincy Newman, I'm starting him. I mean, in my flex, but that's where he goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even targeting him in trades.
Yeah, and here's
Yeah.
the thing is
I'd
the
definitely-
He's not a
Dolphins.
hot name.
No.
The Dolphins are not easy to throw on. I mean, you're talking about you're either going against Rashad Jones or Xavier Howard. They're both very good people in the secondary. I mean, I would.
Mama didn't raise no fools.
I
mean,
like
they
Quincy
ain't bad.
Nunwa.
Question: Do you trade? What do you do with? Well, we'll talk about Patrick Mahomes when we get there. Go
Okay,
there.
so moving on. Titans, Texans. I want to say real quick, I would not put a lot of weight on the wide receiver distribution for the Titans because Gabbert was playing. I mean, it wasn't Mariota,
All right, I'm just gonna say it.
but Dion only got 1 reception and target.
I'm gonna say it. The Titans look like poop. They look like hot garbage.
This is known.
I mean, it is.
It was
It
foretold.
is. I know it's a backup quarterback, and I know they're missing offensive linemen, and yeah, they have all those reasons. But it is a poop show. It is poop. Literally, just not even nice about it.
Do you want to give us a Wikipedia history of feces?
I keep trying to come up with another word.
They did win though.
But that's what the Titans do: is play like garbage and somehow make it to the playoffs. Like literally last year, they looked awful too. I'll say it. They just looked awful, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're 10-8. Who?" Like I was like, or 10-6.
What?
Like, how?
Played extra games.
Well, they needed to. I mean, I'm telling you, what was it? Derrick Henry had 12 carries for 36 yards.
If I have Derrick Henry, if I have Corey Davis, if I have Marcus Mariota, no one's going to give me anything for them. And so here's what I'm doing.
Yeah, 18 attempts for 56 yards. Derrick Henry.
I'm holding them. I'm not. I'm just gonna.
Sad.
I'm gonna put them on my bench and forget about them until Taylor Lewan and Jack Conklin come back. I mean, because I really think that after that they start to get better. Obviously, they have to.
Royce or Henry.
Oh,
Because
right.
both.
I'd go Royce Freeman. Yeah.
All right. I mean, Matt Breida had himself a game. Derrick Henry or Matt Breida. But now we're getting
close.
into it.
Yeah, Matt Breida had a lot of receptions.
That's close. If I have enough padding that I think I can get through until later in the season, I'm going to hold Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry or Philip Lindsay.
if someone would do that trade straight across, I would probably do Philip Lindsay and then try to trade him.
Okay. One last one just for the LOLs. Kerryon Johnson or Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry. I hate the Lions.
We'll touch on that. We'll touch on Kerryon.
You're going to touch on
The next game we're going to talk
sexual.
about, Eagles and Bucks. Kerry's show is split between Clement and Smallwood, but I would definitely say Clement because of his passing game.
Quiz had some use.
He had a little use, yes. Nelson Aguilar was the wide receiver. So what happens to Nelson when Jeffrey comes back? Does he like drop down to a flex spot?
He lines up differently on the field.
No, just
Okay, I'll just say it. I don't think he changes much. And I think that when he does come back, I may be targeting the Nelson owner. Here's the reason why. Because I feel like let me rephrase. I may be targeting the Nelson Aguilar owner now. Because I feel like lack of wide receiver options, yes. But when Carson Wentz comes back, he's a more efficient thrower. So I feel like Nelson Aguilar is going to get a huge bump.
mm-hmm.
And I think that when Jeffrey comes back, because of how good Carson Wentz is, Nelson Aguilar is going to end up back to where he is now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Carson Wentz is going to give him a bump from where he is now, so that's good. He's going to do even better than what we've seen. And then when Jeffrey comes back, he's going to come back down because he's going to lose some volume, but the efficiency is going to be better.
Okay.
So that's kind of a roller coaster of things.
Yeah.
And so I almost want to buy Nelson Aguilar now before Carson Wentz comes back. And then when Carson Wentz comes back and before Alshon Jeffrey comes back, I want to sell him. Just ride that stock wave. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's the craziest advice I've probably have given in a hot second.
Yeah, I mean, I think you try to get him, just trying to market the whole. Well, he had 33 yards last game. He's nothing more than a flex,
But I mean, in 2 games, he has had 22 targets.
Yeah, no, I think you get him and
you try to devalue him during the talk.
Yeah, you hold him until Alshon Jeffrey comes back, and you sell him based on what he has done.
And by the way, last game he had 88 yards, 12 targets,
Yeah.
88 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, that's 15 points. I mean, that's deal, and I think that it goes up with Carson Wentz.
I mean, and again this week, the Bucks are amazing, and there's nothing bad to say because Fitzmagic is real.
All right, question. Oh, this is such a good question. Why haven't I thought about
Jameis
this?
Winston will not be playing.
No, not that. Nelson Aguilar, Quincy Enunwa.
Quincy Enunwa.
Yeah, for the season, Quincy's, unless he hurts his neck again, it doesn't change. I mean, he's going to be the same guy throughout.
It's close, though.
It's close, and the only reason why is if I wanted to gamble and see if I could grab Nelson Aguilar and see if I could turn him into more than Quincy Enunwa. I don't got that time.
No, ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Lions 49ers. Kerryon Johnson split carries with Blunt and was more efficient with those carries. He's also targeted 6 times for 5 receptions.
And let's talk about this. Blunt got suspended, got thrown out of this game. If he is facing a suspension, which could happen, Kerryon becomes interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And Theo
And
Riddick
that's why I
was
went
not
Kerryon
used
before Henry.
as a rusher. He was not.
And that's what I'm saying, is that that's why I went Kerryon over Henry because I just see the upside. Like, if Blunt, because the Lions are doing this weird thing like, well, our running back, our rookie's got to earn it. No, just he's the best running back you have. Like, and I get it. Y'all are like, well, I don't trust the Lions running backs and blah, blah, blah. I get that. I'm not saying he's going to be the best running back in the world. I don't think he's a running back 1. But 2, 3, sure. Mm-hmm. And what I worry about is I don't see that at a Henry right now. I mean, Henry, I'm not starting Henry next week. Are you?
I feel like I'm always disappointed.
I would rather play Kerryon Johnson week 3 than Derrick Henry.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, especially if Blunt's facing a suspension.
Yeah, okay.
And if the Lions could actually, get in a game where they want to run, that would help.
Yeah, it looks. I put some notes in here from a fantasy perspective. The 49ers wide receivers sucked, but that's also because they only passed the ball 26 times, not 26 completions.
Well,
26
Matt Breida
attempts. And
had himself a game.
Yeah, what I said in here is that Breida and Morris really helped keep a back. Well, yeah. a split carry of Breida and Morris, which it was pretty split in half. I think one got 2 more carries than the other. Really helped keep the backs fresh and keep pressure off the quarterback, and they just ran the ball. I mean, they ran 28 times. They passed the ball 26.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things too. Like Matt Breida, 11 attempts, 168 yards, and a touchdown. 4 targets, 3 receptions for 21 yards in the air. That looks great. It does. Keep in mind, though, one of those runs, and I don't want to take it away, was a 66-yard touchdown. So, like you said, I think this is going to be a Morris and Breida. I like Breida. I'm not saying I won't start him, but I don't think that – I think next week it could be Morris that does that.
Yeah.
Like, Morris, breaks off a 50-yard run for a touchdown, and now we're sitting here going, what do we do? Like, I mean, really,
oh, no.
I mean, and it could not be. It could be Breida and Breida, and I could be wrong, but I just would not be overzealous in trying to trade for him right now. I mean, I think that he's at an all-time high. If you're just looking at the box score of 0.9 points in PPR, you're like, oh, sweet Jesus. But also remember, 12 of those points came in like one play.
Yeah.
Which happens in football. I'm not saying it doesn't. But when you're talking about a split backfield with a guy that wasn't exactly a huge draft capital, I just have a hard time being like, oh, yeah, that'll happen every week.
No. So we're going to move on. We got to get through these next few quick. Raiders versus Broncos. I don't know why I'm going to say this. I don't know how I can say this, but Amari Cooper caught 10 of his 10 targets. He caught 100% of his targets. That's it. That's all I can. That's.
Here's what I worry about Amari.
The first time for everything.
This is what happens with Amari is that he'll have himself a game, and you're like, he's back, baby. Remember that one game he had like 2 touchdowns last year? We all gave it up hope.
Then he got really hungover for 2 years.
I mean, are you buying Amari Cooper?
No.
Are you?
Okay. Can you say to yourself, I am confident starting Amari Cooper? Ever. Can you, in your mind, say, like, yes, I would not mind starting him this week? Depending on your players you have, yes, but...
Call me... Here's my number. Call me crazy.
Call me crazy.
I almost, if I was an Amari Cooper owner, I would be looking to sell higher on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be looking to take Amari Cooper, and I would want to trade for one of these lesser known people and extra. Like, I would love to take Amari Cooper, turn him into Quincy Enunwa plus. Or, like, take Amari Cooper and a lesser running back.
I'm open, Tyler.
And trade him for Quincy Enunwa and a really good running. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, if you can get Amari and Joe Mixon for Amari and some of the running back you have for Quincy and Joe Mixon, I think that's a smart move.
Okay.
Just something to think about.
Philip Lindsay out-carried Royce Freeman 14-8. I'm freaking out over here, guys. From what I read on SleeperBot, they're going with a hot hand approach. Whoever's going to be the best running back, that's who they're going to play.
That was really loud.
Thanks for making noise, Tyler. Thanks a lot. I don't know. Do I want to keep and redraft?
Okay, you have to keep Royce Freeman in redraft.
Yeah,
you don't drop
want
him.
to. I can't.
And you can't trade him.
So just stuck on my bench.
He's Derrick Henry, just riding the pine.
Okay. Guess it's Stills from now on.
I mean, really. I mean, I don't know.
He's still going to get goal line work. He's the goal line guy.
I know, but what's frightening is like literally the guy got 8.5 points in PPR. 6 of those was a touchdown. I mean, if he doesn't get that touchdown, that is a dud game. I mean, it is a dead game to me.
I don't know.
I know he's your guy, Jonathan, but I'm just saying, like, look through a little bit of rose-colored glasses. You have to be concerned right now.
I am concerned, but again, this last game Phillip had, it was a great game, but I'm still going to hold on to it. I just don't think he can continue.
I'm not dropping him. That's not the moral of the story. But I mean, he finished right next to Jordan Wilkins and Giovanni Bernard. I mean, to me right now, I mean, I will put if I picked up Giovanni Bernard off waivers, I will play Giovanni above him, no problem. Because you also got to think Giovanni did that while splitting hairs with Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely because you know he's going to have the backfield, but
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I still hold on to Royce Freeman because I still think that I think that Philip Lindsay comes back to earth, and I think that Royce Freeman comes up. I mean, if he's still doing the same thing by week 4, week 5, okay, I think we have a major problem.
But I mean,
you're not going to sell him for anything.
You can't sell him for anything now, and you can't sell him for anything then. So
okay, how about this? Kerryon Johnson or Royce Freeman?
That's actually a really good one to me.
It's good. I still go with Royce Freeman because I think he has better upside.
Then we would be trade partners because I would take Kerryon.
I'm in the middle. I can't.
Don't make me choose.
Don't make me choose.
Don't make me.
Last game we're going to talk about Giants Cowboys. Saquon he never really got the ball going because that Dallas defense.
That's right.
Sorry, I had to do that for him. He did get a lot of catches though.
He did.
He got a lot of catches.
I think 14?
Yeah, he was the most targeted player on the Giants team.
Yeah.
And he had the most rushes.
He had 14 receptions. He had 16 targets. Do not mistake.
Yeah. And Zeke was also the most targeted player on the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. So a lot of
Zeke with 6 targets, most targeted.
they didn't pass though.
Yeah, I think they passed under 30 times. They 27. I mean, the Cowboys are going to old school football, defense and run.
That's what they try to always do, though. They try to be a run-first team with a strong defense.
That's why I've said since this season started, they remind me a lot of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, tell me how. I mean, you
except
have
the Jacksonville Jaguars have Keelan Cole now going for over 100 yards.
Does Saquon scare you? I mean, okay, so he had a great receiving game. He did not do that against the Jags, and so let's keep in mind.
I think this was just the Giants struggling the entire game.
I think it's that, and I think that. I like this. I've seen both sides of Saquon. Okay, yeah, against Dallas, 28 yards, 11 attempts, 28 yards, not good. 2.5 yards a carry. And so you're like, oh, man, are we worried about his running efficiency? Against Jacksonville, 18 attempts, 106 yards, 5.9. Now, granted, one of that was like a 50-yard, 60-yard run.
68-yard run, yeah.
68-yard run, which, I think there is concern for that. But, I mean, to me, 6 targets, 2 receptions on the Jacksonville Jaguars, 22 yards. To me, this does show, at the end of the day, the versatility of Saquon. And Jacksonville Jaguars are a really good pass defense. So what did they do? Not pass it to them. They just gave him the ball, 18 attempts. Dallas, obviously, I think has a good run D. I mean, let's be honest. Their passing D isn't as strong. So what did they do? I mean, he went with the game flow. I mean, here's what I'm worried about, or here's the thing. You admit Dallas has a great defense. I do too. Also, Jacksonville does too. In both of those games, one game 18.8 fantasy points in standard. Actually, let me go back to PPR. I'm sorry. PPR 20.8 points against Jacksonville, 24.8 against Dallas. If we were to look at any other running back right now and they had those points against those solid of a defense, you would be freaking out right now. What happens when the Giants play a crappy defense and they're up ahead and just feed Saquon the ball? I mean, that'd be insane. If Alvin Kamara comes out against Jacksonville and gets 20 points, you're not going to be upset. You're going to be like, I mean, it's a good defense. He still got 20 points. I mean, But, I mean, let me look at the Giants' schedule. But I'm telling you, one of these games, he's going to feast.
I've got it right here. So they play the Texans coming up. Texans don't have a great defense.
No, I mean, Texas, Saints, Panthers, Eagles. I mean, I think the next 2 games of the Texans and the Saints, you may see some scary Saquon.
Scary Saquon.
I mean, we're going to go full. He's going to just trick or treat, knock on the door, say, give me your candy. They're going to hand him a little piece. He's like, I said the full-size candy bar is ho. And they're going to be like, oh, no.
No, I don't even want the full. I want the king size.
Remember when you were little and the kid got that one house had the king size?
Neighborhood. I always went to the rich
king size. You're like, who are these millionaires?
So we're gonna move on. We got a couple minutes left. Real quick, who's getting your shame bill this week? For my,
do we have the shame bill?
No, for my shame bill, it's Adrian Peterson. Had 11 carries for 20 yards.
We had the volume.
Then he had 3 receptions for 30 yards, which is good, but that 1.8 yards per carry, shame on you.
Yeah, that's booty.
That's booty.
I don't even know. There's so many teams that I had that I was just like, really? That's what you're gonna do? I think Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, yeah, he was hurt, but it's like I expected a little more. And I said I was worried about it. I would, but I think what I'm just gonna say it. My shame bell is I think Rob Gronkowski. 2.5 points, man.
Yeah, the Jaguars.
Two receptions, 15 yards, man. Come on.
The Jaguars double team him every single play.
And I
watched
get it. I get it. And you know what I'm also going to shame? Demaryius Thomas. Watching that game, he had so many balls.
That was Jonathan's. So it's going to double up there. Jonathan, you say it. Say it, Jonathan.
Demaryius Thomas.
What a dick.
Thomas.
I mean, it was like, I don't know. I just think against Oakland and all those, I expected a decent game out of him. He had a lot. Me and Jonathan were watching the game.
Yeah, he had a very low average.
And not only that, but he had a couple of balls. I mean, 11 targets, 5 receptions, 18 yards, and he had a couple of big plays that were like, for the win. I mean, I know they won, but I'm just saying like big catches that just went right through his hands. And I'm like, come on, Demaryius.
It's the Vikings all over again.
Like, dude, get it together.
My shame bell goes to Patrick Mahomes.
Shame
on you for making everyone look so bad.
No, that's Fitzpatrick.
I'm just gonna say it.
You're thinking about Fitzpatrick.
Expect a regression because it was the day before his birthday. Today's his birthday.
That's it.
Everyone always does well
analysis.
during their birthday week.
I mean, I do well with my wife during my birthday week, but that's about it. No, but I mean, I don't know. It's a question. I mean, I know we do Dynasty in the offseason. It'll be the last question. We'll finish off the episode. In Dynasty, who do you want more than Patrick Mahomes? I mean, I know it's a 2-game sample.
Personally, because I veer on the safe side of the street.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with our main, still Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
okay.
Because, prove it to me a little bit.
I just feel like
we have a guy.
Aaron Rodgers' value in Dynasty.
Deshaun Watson also showed it too. I mean,
I agree. I mean, but it's a real question. I'll tell you this though. We're gonna end on this. I'm not trading for Patrick Mahomes. Redraft, Dynasty, you can't.
The price is high.
No,
it's just too much. I mean,
why would you buy Apple?
And if you own Patrick
$1,000?
Mahomes, unless someone's knocking on your proverbial trade door, and they're offering you just loot and money and cash.
Okay, for instance, I mean they're going to want your quarterback, a good quarterback back, like say Big Ben or Andrew Luck, and then
Ryan
more,
Fitzpatrick.
and then more. Also, what do you do with DJ, David Johnson? Are you buying him?
If I can buy him for a running back 2 price.
Dynasty redraft. You buying David Johnson at all?
No.
Yeah.
I got an offer. David Johnson for Jordan Howard and Adam Thielen. Dynasty.
I would take the Jordan Howard, Adam Thielen.
That's what I said.
All right. Well, that's all we're going to talk about.
This crazy world we live in.
Yeah, that's a terrible trade for the.
That was the recap of week 2. Next episode is going to be a what's going on week 3.
It's like going into the store and seeing something mislabeled, and you're like, wow, somebody messed up their sticker gun.
I get no respect.
And you get it for half the price.
Isn't that the best? Yep, Nick hit us.
I'm just going to
get us out.
You all talk too much.
You talk too much.
Or maybe you don't talk enough.
Maybe you
thought about that.
Maybe I just want to leave.
Listening to the Fantasy Football
Good.
Franchise
Leave or leave?
Follow us at
Leave.
F3Pod.
I want to make like a tree and leaf out of here.